What more do you think cities can be doing to make sure that people stay safe in their cities, in the coming months and years?
I think the biggest thing, and obviously we can help this at the federal level, but the most important thing that states and cities can do is to actually solve the law enforcement recruitment challenge that we have. So a big part of the story, what happened in Cincinnati, I assume you're talking about this terrible brawl that happened in southwestern Ohio. You had, basically a woman who was just an innocent bystander who got punched in the face by a grown man. That's being investigated. Hopefully those folks are brought to justice. Just a really disgusting act of violence. But part of the story there is that there weren't enough police officers at the Cincinnati Jazz Festival. Mm-hmm. Why aren't there enough police officers? Because there aren't enough police officers in Cincinnati. Mm-hmm. And if you talk to local law enforcement, they'll tell, sometimes you hear heartbreaking stories of a fourth, fifth generation cop who says, I tell my son or daughter, do not go into law enforcement because it's so uncomfortable, because they got attacked so much, especially back in 2020, 2021. And that's just left a really bad hangover. So we've got to get the best and the brightest into law enforcement. I think the most important thing is local governments. You still got a lot of blue, big city mayors, people who maybe have some memories of the defund the police moment. Maybe they themselves were actually advocating defund the police. They've got to say, okay, this was a crazy moment. We got to support our local cops, and we got to get good people back into law enforcement, because pretty much every big city police department is really understaffed. You're going to have stuff like that, right? Because, look, Cincinnati's not the biggest city in the world. You got 300,000 people, give or take, in the actual city proper. You're going to have, of 300,000 people, sometimes you're going to have misbehavior. You got to make sure local law enforcement is there to respond to it, so you don't have this really disgusting street brawl that just went on and on and on. People got hurt. It's really terrible. The way to fix it is to get good people back into law enforcement.